supply chain,
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 supply chain.
Supply Chain Management with GDP Season 2, and this time it's bigger and it's better. We will pick up from where we left off and continue to discuss industry best practices, current affairs, effective leadership, and the latest innovations in the world of supply chain. The podcast is aimed at explaining the concepts of supply chain in the leanest way possible, one of the most efficient shows where you will listen to me covering through various important topics across the supply chain domain. I'm your host, Gagandeep Prabhu, currently working at Ernst & Young in their supply chain and operations consulting practice. So let's just jump right into it then. If you work in supply chain, this is one thing that you would have definitely heard in your tenure over there. Sustainable supply chain. It's the buzzword that's being thrown around for a few years now, and that's going to continue to be thrown around. Now, don't get me wrong, it's very important, but how do you get to being sustainable and how do you ensure that your supply chain is sustainable? That is where a lot of organizations lack, and that's where we'll talk about today. Traditional supply chain management places a focus on efficiency, cost, and operational reliability. Now, a sustainable supply chain takes it up a notch. It incorporates ethical practices while considering the environmental impact, cost ranging from raw materials to production, storage, and delivery. Global supply chains account for more than 75% of the planet's emissions. The objective is to have a beneficial impact on the population while minimizing environmental harm from waste creation, water consumption, etc. And to manage inventory by not overstocking, but by reducing logistic-related impacts such as emission. Now, what are the benefits of a sustainable supply chain? One thing that I can think of from top of my head is its reduced environmental impact. You can instantly see results by lowering waste and improving the effectiveness of structures and equipment. For example, Walmart. Walmart has been working with suppliers to reduce emissions, which not only reduces the environmental impact, but saves money too. Giants such as Walmart who invest in sustainable supply chains make a big impact in reducing environmental impact. Second thing is the improved continuity of supply. It diversifies your supply chain to avoid over-reliance on a single link in your chain. Having multiple suppliers in different parts of the world can improve the continuity of your products or services, preventing costly downtime or even reputational damage. Thirdly, innovation. When you have sustainable supply chains implemented, you tend to be more innovative. This ensures that suppliers are better able to make recommendations to enhance operations and aid businesses in achieving their innovation goals when they're aware of companies' long-term goals and vision. For example, if you're into sports and you buy sportswear, you'll see Adidas jerseys have a tag which says made from recycled material. What does this mean? It means that most of the products that they're trying are made from recycled plastic. And by 2024, they hope to replace the virgin polyester with recycled polyester wherever possible. And by 2025, 9 out of their 10 articles will contain some sort of a sustainable material. And this is awesome, especially considering all the waste that goes into all the turtles that are dying because there's straw stuck in their noses. This will help sea life as well as our aquatic life to recover from all the plastic that we've been dumping for years and years. Now, the key question that comes here is, how do you integrate sustainability into a supply chain that has been already well established? So there's 4 frameworks to this. One is understand your procurement. That is, most companies start sustainable programs by looking at their energy and water procurement and by procuring sustainable materials in their products. Operations. Look for operational processes or steps across the supply chain that could be more efficient and reduce resource usage. Retirement of products. Avoid excess waste and obsolete items by changing products for upcycling and reuse. Data and communication. Ensure that there's an effectiveness in the initiatives for the first 3 months that you use, and strengthen any related efforts by communicating them to the customers, supply chain partners, and other stakeholders. Now, sustainable supply chains have really good examples across the country, but I'll give two good examples out of this. First one being FedEx. Having worked to cut its aircraft emissions by 30% and increase its express fleet efficiency by 30% by 2020, FedEx now looks at its 2030 goals when it's thought that 30% of companies' jet fuel will consist of alternate fuel resources, which is awesome because we know how difficult and how strenuous it is for the environment when we mine fuel from underground. So having 30% of its company jet fuel of alternate fuel resources is amazing. Further to this, the logistics provider FedEx is also expanding its on-site renewable energy generation initiatives across the world. So ensuring that their internal processes are sustainable as well. Another good example is our Atlanta-based Coca-Cola. The world's largest beverage manufacturer relies on a very decentralized supply chain that encourages flexibility, agility, and innovation. So, for instance, it leverages an IoT-based tech such as intelligent coolers which track and moderate temperatures while measuring vending strategies. They have maximized efficiency across their supply chain while minimizing waste and energy usage, which is a great example of seeing a opportunity to improve the process and ensuring that the resource that they're using is not going to waste. So these are my thoughts about sustainable supply chain. I know there's a lot of different topics that we can delve into, but I hope this gives you a perspective about how important it is that modern supply chains bring in the picture of sustainability into their processes. Thank you for tuning in. I will see you for another episode of Supply Chain with GDP soon.